Hello, it's Sonia here with The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today's project, we are going to be making an ear warmer. Winter is around the corner, so I thought we better get started with some of those wintry projects. And this is a really fast one. It works up easily and you can make it to fit any head size. So for this project, I am going to be using my G hook or 4.25mm hook. And I will be using two different colors here. So I have this green, and I know for a fact that this is some very old Caron Simply Soft yarn. This yarn, it's like a taupey color. It looks probably more white, but it's actually kind of more like taupe in real life. I'm not sure what brand this is. To me, it actually feels like a Stylecraft DK. So very simple, very similar in weights here. You can see that the Caron is just probably very slightly heavier than the taupey color. But these are what we're going to be using. I don't have very much of this color, so the bulk of the project will be with this green. And this is going to be an ear warmer with some braids in it, very simple cabling here. And I'm not sure what I'm calling it yet, so you'll find out when you see the title of the video. Alright, so to get started with this project, what you need to do is just make a chain to fit around your head. And with this project, you can use pretty much any type of yarn that you have. I would not suggest fuzzy or furry or even multicolored unless you're mixing it with a solid color yarn, because we have some cabling in there. You want to be able to see the cables. So if you use certain multicolored yarns, often cables don't show up very well. But if you're using it as a contrast color and don't use as much of it, I think it would be fine. And so you could use worsted weight yarn, you could use fingering weight yarn. I have, this is like a Decate weight yarn. You certainly could use sport weight, you know, whatever you have, bulky would be fine. And just choose your hook size according to what yarn you're using. So I'm just going to keep going. As I said, just make a chain to fit around your head. You don't want it to be too tight, but you don't want it to be super loosey-goosey either. Just like a nice, comfortably snug fitting chain around your head. Why don't we say that? Alright, I'm going to go off camera and just keep chaining, and you do not have to worry about stitch count. You just need to make sure the chain fits around your head. Okay, so here is my chain. I actually made 87 chains here, but I have another one that I made right here. I'm going to show it to you. And I think I used, this is worsted weight yarn, and I probably used an eye hook for this one. So I only made 68, or actually I'd say 69 chains for this one. So it just depends on what yarn you're using. If you're using heavier yarn and a larger hook, you will need less chains. Alright, so as I said before, it doesn't matter, but if you wanted to use similar yarn weight and the same size hook, then I did make 87 chains. So we are going to work on our round 1 / row 1 here. I'm going to work on the back bump here. So in the second chain from our hook, we are just going to put in a single crochet. And as I said, you can use however many colors you want, or just make it all one color. So that one I showed you, I used two different colors there. Just it's like a cream colored white and red. So I'm just going to single crochet all the way across this chain. And when I'm done, we will turn it into a circle, and we will be working in the round for the rest of the project. So you'll just want to work single crochet all the way across in your back bump. So I will meet you back at the end here. Alright, so here we go. I've worked my first row / round of single crochet. And the reason why we work in the back bump is because we want here I'll show you on this guy since it's finished. So we want both ends to look the same, so you can see that right there. Alright, so let's get back to what we're doing here. Alright, so we're going to turn this into a circle. So what we're going to do is you want to make sure you don't twist it. So what I like to do is I just like to take my thumb, my index finger, and I just run it down like that, all the way to the end. And we are going to work an extended single crochet right there. So I'm inserting my hook in there. We're not joining. We're gonna, if you're working all in the same color, you do not need to join. You can work in continuous rounds and that creates a seamless look. I am going to add another color, so I will join a couple times and I will show you when we get there. So we're going to work that single extended single crochet. So my hook is in the stitch, yarn over, pull through. I've got my 2 loops. I'm going to chain 1 and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops, and that's my first stitch. So what we want to do is I want to place a stitch marker in my last stitch, because I'm going to be doing some continuous rounds and some will not. Just trying to create as seamless a look as possible by avoiding that join. So I just like to use scraps of yarn for my stitch markers. Cheap, easy, always have plenty of them. Alright, so there we go. So for round 2, because now we're on round 2, we are just working a round of extended single crochet. So you will notice that you're going to have a little gap where we attached that, where we made our first extended single crochet. When you're finishing your project, you're going to take your tail, you'll take a yarn needle, I like to insert it right in that first stitch, just thread that tail through, and then you can pull it tight, cinch that little gap closed, and then just take your tail and weave it in, and it's taken care of. Alright, so let's keep going here. Next stitch, extended single crochet, and we're just going to do that all the way around for round 2. So we will be getting to the fun cabling section very soon. So these are our setup rows or rounds here. Okay, so I've worked round 2 and that's my last stitch, so I just marked that. So now we are just going to start round 3, and I'm not going to join, I'm just going to jump right in because I'm still sticking with this green, and we're going to work extended single crochet. So you will want to work extended single crochet. So we're going to say that this is the back of our ear warmer. So somewhere when we're close to the other side, about halfway around, then we're going to start working our cable section. So I'm just going to work extended single crochet until I'm almost halfway around, and then we'll start doing some cabling. Alright, so I am just about halfway there, so there's my where I joined there, so that's a good indication of how far I've gotten here. So we are going to start the cabling. So we're going to do double crochet, so I'm going to yarn over, and the braided cable is going to be worked over 3 stitches. So we are going to skip this next stitch and we're going to work front post double crochet around the next one. And the braided cable is worked in 2 parts. So this is the first part, and then the next round will be the second part. So we are going to work front post double crochet around the one we skipped, but we are going to work behind. So I'm just going to go behind and pick up that stitch there. And you can push that other guy aside and just work that front post double crochet. And as I said, it's worked over 3 stitches, so we need to work 1 more, and that's right here. And just working front post double crochet around that last one. So we're going to make 2 rows of, or 2 columns of braided cables. So our next 2 stitches are going to be just regular front post, or not front post, extended single crochet. So 1, 2, and now we're going to work our cable section again, our braided cable. So yarn over, we're going to skip this next stitch and work front post double crochet around the next. Oops, yep, we're going to do it. It's telling me no, I don't want to. Okay, so again, working behind, pushing that guy aside. And work that front post double crochet. And you can move the stitches around if you need to. They are very sturdy stitches, so you're not going to hurt your work. And then we work one more front post double crochet to complete this part of the braided cable. And then for the rest of this round, you're just working extended single crochet. And at the end of this round, I'm going to pick up my next color there. So I will meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm ready to work my last stitch there. I'm going to pull that guy out. And I am going to be picking up my other color. So I'm going to finish off that stitch. And I'm not going to cut my green there. I'm just going to let that hang out, and then I am going to join in my first stitch there, and that's just going to help the colors, sorry I bumped the camera there, it's going to help the colors just to line up more evenly, because if you do work continuous rounds, they will look staggered, and so that's why we're doing it like that. Alright, so let's get ready for round 4. We're going to chain 1 and just work that extended single crochet. And we are just going to continue to work extended single crochet until we get to our cable section, and then we'll work the second half of the braided cable. So I'm going to do that and I will meet you back. Alright, so we're back to our cable section. So for the second half of the cable section, because it's worked in 2 parts, we are going to work front post double crochet right around this first one. So this section's a little easier because you don't have to do work behind. So we have that first front post double crochet. We're going to skip this next stitch and we're going to work front post double crochet around the next. And then we're going to go back and work front post double crochet around the one we skipped. So we're just working in front. We don't have to go behind. Just pick up that stitch there. Now with the braids, it will take a couple rounds in until it really looks like something. It kind of, you can see it a little bit, but it doesn't look that great. So we're going to work 2 extended single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that's rule of thumb with any type of cabling pattern. Sometimes you got to get a couple rounds or rows in before it really starts to take shape. All right, we're going to do the second section of cables here. The second set, I guess, of cables, not section. All right, there we go. Our first front post double crochet, skipping the next and working front post double crochet around the next. And then we are going to go back in the one that we skipped. And then you're just going to work front post, or not front post, extended single crochet for the rest of the round. So what you're going to want to do is you will want to repeat rounds 3 and 4 for however long you want your ear warmer, or however wide I should say. And then your last round will be a single crochet round, just so it looks like the first. And again, I'm not sure how I'm going to do these colors. So here's the one that I completed. So you can see it here. So we have the single crochet round there, single crochet round there. So as you can see, once you have a couple rounds in, the braids start to pop out. So as I said before, just work as many rounds as you want until it's, you know, wide enough for however you want it. You can even have a thinner headband if you would prefer, or an even wider one. It's all up to you. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you did, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.